Ethan walked slowly across the quiet alien village, feeling the cold wind push against his suit. The place looked empty, like everyone had left in a hurry. Broken homes, damaged walls, scattered tools, everything showed fear. He could not understand why the scanner on his wrist kept beeping again and again. It told him there was life here, but he could not see anyone. He moved forward, watching the shadows carefully. Something about this place felt wrong, like the air itself was holding its breath. Then he heard it. Soft footsteps behind him. Very light. Very careful. He turned fast, ready to defend himself. But instead of danger, he found a small alien boy standing there. The boy's skin was pale and dusty, his eyes big and tired. In his arms, he carried a tiny puppy. The puppy had glowing blue eyes and its small body shook like it was freezing. Ethan saw fear in both of them, deep and sharp. The boy spoke in a weak voice, "Please sir, help us, our puppy is hungry, and my mom is still sick." His words trembled, like he had been scared for days. Ethan knelt slowly so he wouldn't frighten the boy. He looked closer at the puppy. Its ribs were showing, its breaths were weak, and yet its blue eyes still had a strange spark, like a small fire refusing to die. Ethan wanted to speak, to ask what happened, but before he could, the ground under them gave a small shake. It was not strong, but strong enough to warn him. The boy immediately looked toward the forest behind the village, his hands shaking harder. Ethan followed the boy's eyes. The forest looked normal at first, but then he heard something. A crack. A low rumbling sound. Something was moving there. Something heavy. Something alive. The trees rustled even though there was no wind. The puppy suddenly whined and crawled closer to the boy's chest. The boy whispered, "Please sir, we need to go, before it wakes up." Ethan felt a drop of cold sweat run down his neck. He didn't know what it meant, but the fear in the boy's voice was real. He nodded and told the boy, "Show me your mother. I will help." The boy quickly led him through broken pathways, past empty houses, past burnt walls. Every sound behind them made the boy flinch. Ethan stayed close, always looking over his shoulder. They reached a small house. Half the roof was gone. The door was cracked open. Inside, it was dark and quiet. Too quiet. The boy pushed the door and walked in. Ethan followed. On a small bed made of cloth and leaves, the mother lay still. She looked very weak, her breathing slow and painful. Strange glowing marks covered her arms and neck, pulsing like faint light trapped under her skin. Ethan stepped closer and scanned her with his device. But the scanner glitched, the screen shaking and blinking red. Something was blocking the reading. Something powerful. Ethan frowned. This was not a normal sickness. The boy held the puppy close and said, "She got sick 2 nights ago, after the hunters came, after the forest changed." His voice broke. He looked like he was trying not to cry. "We ran out of food. The puppy has not eaten since then." Ethan wanted to ask about the hunters, but before he could speak, he heard a distant crack. A loud one. Like a tree being snapped in half. The boy froze. The puppy growled, a tiny sound but full of warning. Ethan stepped toward the window and looked out. A dark shape moved between the trees. Too fast to see clearly. Too big to be normal. The boy whispered shakily, "It comes every night, it wants our puppy." Ethan's heart beat faster. Why would anything want a puppy? There had to be more to this. Something hidden. Something dangerous. The mother suddenly coughed, glowing marks pulsing brighter. She tried to whisper something but her voice broke. Ethan leaned forward to hear her. Her dry lips moved slowly, "Take the puppy far, before it returns." Another loud crack shook the trees. This time closer. Much closer. The ground vibrated with each step of the creature outside. Ethan didn't know what it was, but he knew it was hunting. And it was coming straight toward them. The boy grabbed Ethan's sleeve. "Please don't let it find us," he whispered, his voice soft and scared. "It can smell him, the puppy, it always can." The puppy whimpered again, glowing faintly like its small body was reacting to the creature. Ethan understood one thing clearly: the puppy wasn't ordinary. The mother's sickness, the hunters, the creature, the glowing marks, everything was connected in some way. Ethan stepped back from the window. The sound outside grew louder, each step shaking the house a little more. The boy hugged the puppy tight. The mother's glowing marks flickered again. The darkness outside thickened. Something huge moved just behind the broken houses. Ethan knew there was no more time left. It was coming. The creature had found them. And the real nightmare was only beginning. Ethan stood completely still, listening to the heavy sound moving outside the house. Each step felt like a warning, a slow message that the creature knew exactly where they were. The boy held the small glowing puppy so tightly that the puppy let out a soft cry. Ethan gently placed a hand on the boy's shoulder to calm him, but even he could feel the fear spreading through the air like cold smoke. The next sound came suddenly. A loud scrape against the wall of the house. Something sharp. Something big. The wooden boards on the outside cracked as if a giant claw dragged across them. The boy gasped and covered his mouth. The mother on the bed opened her eyes for a brief moment, glowing weakly, and whispered one broken word: "Run." But Ethan shook his head. Running was useless. The creature was faster. Stronger. And it was already too close. He checked the door quietly. It was unlocked, the wood old and weak. One strong hit from the creature and it would collapse. Ethan looked around the room. There was almost nothing he could use as a weapon, just broken bowls, an old lamp, and a long metal stick that looked like a farming tool. He picked it up, feeling its weight. Not much, but better than nothing. The puppy suddenly lifted its little head and looked straight at the wall. Its eyes glowed brighter, as if it saw something Ethan couldn't. Then it let out a small growl, deep and angry, completely different from the weak sound it made earlier. It almost didn't sound like a puppy anymore. Ethan noticed blue sparks flicker under its fur. The boy whispered, "It knows, the creature is here," his voice shook. "Please sir, what will we do?" Ethan didn't answer yet. He needed to understand the situation. He stepped to the window again, moving slowly so the house wouldn't make noise. The forest was dark, the trees shifting like shadows. Then he saw it. A massive shape moved between the broken houses. The creature was bigger than anything living on Earth. Its body was armored like stone, glowing veins pulsing under its skin. And its eyes. Two burning yellow circles that searched every corner. It sniffed the air, and each breath sounded like thunder. It was hunting. Not for food. For the puppy. Ethan felt something in his chest tighten. Why would a creature this huge care about such a small animal? The answer had to be hidden in the glowing energy both the mother and the puppy shared. Something unnatural. Something powerful. Suddenly, the creature stopped moving. Its head turned slowly until its eyes locked on the house. The house they were inside. Ethan's entire body froze. The creature growled low, a deep rumble that made dust fall from the ceiling. Then it charged. Fast. Down. Ethan shouted. The boy dropped to the floor, protecting the puppy. Ethan grabbed the boy and pulled him toward the corner just as the creature smashed into the side of the house. The wall burst inward. Pieces of wood flew everywhere. The whole house shook like it was about to fall apart. The mother whispered painfully from the bed, "It wants the energy." Ethan didn't understand, but the creature definitely reacted to the puppy's glow. The small animal shook in the boy's arms, its blue eyes brightening. It wasn't scared now. It looked almost ready. The creature pulled back for another hit. Ethan stood between it and the boy, gripping the metal farming tool. His heart hammered in his chest. He knew he couldn't kill that thing. But he could delay it. One more hit and the wall is gone, he thought. The creature roared again and slammed into the house. But this time, something strange happened. The puppy barked. Loud. Much louder than a normal puppy could. A sudden wave of blue light spread through the room like a shock. The creature stopped mid-charge. Its body froze, muscles shaking, like something was holding it back. The boy stared at the puppy in shock. It never did that before. Ethan watched the creature stumble backward, confused and angry. The glowing veins on its body dimmed for a moment. The puppy's light faded too, leaving it weak and trembling again. Ethan understood something important now. The puppy wasn't just glowing. It had power. Living energy. Energy the creature wanted to consume. An energy that weakened the creature when released. The mother on the bed coughed, her voice barely a whisper. The puppy can protect us, but it cannot use its power for long, it's too young. Ethan nodded. Then we need a plan. But his time was already running out. The creature regained strength and slammed the ground with its tail, shaking the entire house. It roared again, angrier than before. Ethan knew it would attack harder now. The boy looked at Ethan with desperate eyes. Please don't let it take him, he begged. He is all I have. Ethan placed a hand on the boy's head. His voice calm, steady, even though fear raced through him. I won't let anything happen to you. Or your mother. Or your puppy. Outside, the creature stepped back, preparing for a final, killing charge. Its body glowed brighter, cracks of yellow light crawling across its skin. It was building energy, preparing to break the entire house in one strike. Ethan stepped forward. The boy held the puppy close, tears falling. The ground vibrated like a drum. The creature roared. And Ethan realized that if he failed right now, the entire village, the boy, the mother, and even he himself, would not survive the next few seconds. The creature crouched low. Then it rushed toward them with terrifying speed. And Ethan did the only thing his mind could think of. He ran straight at it. Ethan ran straight toward the giant creature, feeling every part of his body scream at him to stop. The ground shook under his boots as the massive beast charged from the opposite direction. The air crackled with energy coming from the creature's glowing veins. It looked like living thunder, angry and unstoppable. But Ethan didn't slow down. He didn't think about the danger. He only thought about the boy crying behind him, the sick mother struggling to breathe, and the tiny glowing puppy that had risked everything to protect them. He couldn't fail now. At the very last moment, Ethan jumped aside. The creature roared past him, smashing into another broken house with the force of a falling meteor. Dust exploded into the air. Wood splintered. The creature's huge body slid through the rubble before it stopped and turned its head. Its glowing yellow eyes searched wildly until they locked back onto Ethan. Ethan felt a sharp pain in his chest from how fast he was breathing. But he kept moving, circling the creature, trying to distract it. Come on, he muttered under his breath, follow me, not them. Inside the broken house, the boy held the trembling puppy tightly, watching Ethan through a crack in the wall. His small fingers shook, and tears rolled down his cheeks silently. The mother tried to raise her hand weakly, trying to reach toward the door as if she feared Ethan would die trying to save them. The creature stood up fully now, taller than before. It let out a deep growl, the sound vibrating through the ground. Its yellow veins burned brighter, leaking strange energy. It wasn't just angry, it was desperate. Hungry. Like it needed the puppy's power to stay alive. Ethan gripped the metal stick in his hand tighter, though he knew the weapon was useless. Still, he held it firmly, refusing to back down. The creature stomped forward. 1 step. 2 steps. The ground trembled with each movement. Ethan slowly walked backward. He didn't want to run yet. If he ran, the creature would chase him with full force, and he needed the beast away from the boy and his mother first. So he kept moving backward, step by step, making sure the creature followed him and not the house. Then, suddenly, a sharp, bright blue flash shot out from the house. The creature froze. Ethan turned. The puppy was glowing again, much brighter this time. The tiny animal climbed out of the boy's arms, shaking but determined. Its paws glowed with a soft blue light. The boy tried to stop him, but the puppy pulled away, stepping toward the broken doorway with small but brave steps. "No," the boy cried out softly, but the puppy ignored him. The puppy stepped into the open, facing the giant creature. Ethan's heart dropped. "No, stay back." But the puppy barked, a small sound, but it echoed through the air like a strange signal. The creature reacted instantly, its body jerking, its head snapping toward the puppy with a mix of hunger and pain. The creature growled again and rushed forward. The boy screamed, "No. Don't take him." The puppy stood firm, glowing brighter. Ethan ran toward the creature as fast as he could, trying to reach it before it reached the puppy. But something unexpected happened next. The mother, weak moments ago, suddenly pushed herself up from the bed. Her glowing marks burned brighter than ever, shining like molten fire under her skin. She gasped for air, struggling to sit, but her eyes locked on the creature with deep fear. Then she whispered something that changed everything. "The creature is connected to him, they share the same energy, and the same wound." Ethan stopped for a moment. Connected? Same energy? Same wound? He looked at the creature. Then at the glowing puppy. And he saw it, faint but real, both of them had the same glowing pattern on their chests, like matching marks of light. The creature charged harder now, shaking the earth. Ethan ran, faster than before, pushing his tired body. He reached the puppy just as the creature's massive claws swung forward. Ethan grabbed the puppy and rolled to the side, the force of the creature's strike breaking the ground where they stood. Dust exploded around them. Ethan coughed, holding the puppy close. The small animal glowed in his arms, its heartbeat racing against his chest. The creature roared again, turning its rage toward Ethan now. The boy ran out of the house despite the danger, screaming, "Sir! Don't let it take him. Please!" Ethan pushed himself up, holding the puppy tightly. His arm hurt, but he ignored the pain. He stared at the creature, breathing hard. He needed a plan, fast. Then he remembered something. When the puppy first barked, the creature became weak. When the mother glowed, the creature hesitated. Which meant one thing. The creature wasn't only hunting the puppy. It was being pulled by the energy. Controlled by it. Maybe even suffering from it. Ethan looked at the creature again, realizing something important. The creature wasn't evil. It was in pain. The glowing energy inside it was unstable, wild, burning it from inside. It needed the puppy, not to eat him, but to stabilize itself. Ethan whispered to the puppy, "Little one, you can stop this, can't you?" The puppy looked into his eyes, as if trying to understand. The creature roared one more time and charged, its entire body glowing bright yellow like a living explosion. The boy screamed. The mother collapsed back onto the bed. And Ethan held the glowing puppy tightly as the beast rushed toward them, knowing the next few seconds would decide whether they all lived, or died together. The creature charged with terrifying speed, its huge claws tearing through the dirt, its glowing veins flashing like lightning trapped inside its body. Ethan stood firm, holding the small glowing puppy tightly to his chest. The puppy shook, its tiny heart beating fast against Ethan's arm, but it didn't look away from the charging beast. Its blue eyes glowed brighter, stronger, almost like it was preparing for something. The boy fell to his knees, screaming for Ethan to run. But Ethan didn't move. Not backward. Not forward. He simply waited, watching the creature come closer, knowing he only had one chance to understand what truly connected the monster to this tiny puppy. The creature lifted its massive arm to strike. Ethan shut his eyes. But something strange happened. The puppy suddenly pressed its small paw against Ethan's chest. A warm blue light spread across Ethan's body like a gentle wave. The air around him rippled. The creature's attack slowed, not stopped, but slowed, like time had turned thick. Ethan opened his eyes in shock. Everything felt different. Clearer. Like he was seeing the world from two places at once. And then he understood. He was seeing through the creature's eyes. Even if only for a moment, Ethan felt what the beast felt, pain, burning pain inside its body, like fire eating it from the inside out. Confusion. Fear. Hunger, but not for food, for relief. For balance. For the energy the puppy carried. The puppy's power wasn't just light. It was healing. The creature needed that light to survive. The puppy lowered its head and let out a small, brave bark. The creature froze mid-charge, its glowing veins flickering rapidly like they were reacting to the puppy's voice. Ethan felt the puppy glowing stronger in his arms, the light spreading across his chest, up his neck, and into his mind. He felt connected to both the puppy and the creature, a strange triangle of energy linking them all. The creature stumbled, collapsing to its knees with a loud crash. Dust rose around it. Its glowing veins flickered weakly now, like dying embers. The boy ran forward, eyes wide with fear and hope, shouting, "What's happening? Why did it stop?" Ethan didn't answer. He was too focused on the creature. The beast lifted its head slowly, and for the first time, its eyes weren't full of rage. They looked tired. Lost. Almost scared. The mother inside the house managed to lift her head again, her glowing marks burning brighter for a moment. She whispered something Ethan could barely hear, "The puppy, he is the last one, he carries the pure energy, the creature carries the broken one can heal, one can destroy." Ethan finally understood. The puppy and the creature were made from the same kind, the same source. The puppy had the original, stable energy, gentle, pure, healing. The creature had the corrupted version, unstable, violent, painful. They weren't enemies by nature. They were two halves of a broken balance. But if the puppy gave too much energy, it could die. If it didn't give any, the creature would tear itself apart, or destroy everything around it in pain. Ethan knelt, slowly placing the puppy on the ground. The boy grabbed Ethan's arm, terrified. "No, don't let him go. It will kill him." Ethan gently shook his head. "No. It won't. It needs him. Not to hurt him, but to survive." The boy's hands shook. "But what if you're wrong?" Ethan looked the boy in the eyes. "Then I will protect him, even if it costs everything." The creature let out a low rumble, struggling to stay upright. Its claws dug into the dirt as it tried to pull its broken body forward. The puppy walked toward it slowly, each step glowing brighter than before. Ethan held his breath. The boy held his hands over his mouth, praying silently. The mother watched with half-open eyes, her face pale but full of fear. The creature lowered its huge head. The puppy lifted one small glowing paw and touched the creature's snout. Blue light exploded outward in a soft wave. The ground shook. The creature roared, not in pain, but in something deeper. Relief? Release? Ethan couldn't tell. The creature's body trembled, its glowing veins shifting from bright yellow to warm blue. The puppy glowed brighter and brighter, its tiny body shaking as it poured energy into the monster. Ethan watched closely, ready to move if anything went wrong. The creature's body slowly lifted, its muscles tightening as the corrupted energy inside it began to change. Its breathing steadied, its roars turned softer, almost like a deep sigh. Yellow cracks turned blue, spreading across its entire body. Then everything went still. The creature lay quietly on the ground, breathing steadily for the first time. The puppy collapsed next to it, exhausted, but alive. Ethan rushed forward, lifting the small animal gently. The puppy's breath was weak, its glow almost gone. The boy cried quietly, afraid the puppy was dying, but Ethan felt a faint heartbeat. It was still alive. The creature opened its eyes slowly. This time, its glowing eyes were calm. Not angry. Not wild. Thankful. It lowered its head to the ground in a slow bow. Ethan stared in disbelief. The creature was not their enemy anymore. But this peace wouldn't last. Because far behind them, deep in the forest, Ethan heard new sounds. Footsteps. Many footsteps. The hunters were returning. And they were coming straight for them. The forest behind them grew silent again, but this silence felt different. Heavy. Dangerous. Ethan tightened his grip on the puppy, who was breathing weakly in his arms. The creature that had attacked them only minutes ago stood still, its eyes no longer glowing with rage but with calm blue light. It watched Ethan closely, like it understood what Ethan had done, and what was about to happen next. The boy slowly stepped forward, wiping his tears as he touched the puppy's head gently. "Please, don't die," he whispered, voice shaking. "You're my family, you're all we have." Ethan placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. "He's still breathing," he said softly. "But he needs rest. He used too much energy." The mother inside the house tried to sit up again, but she was too weak. Her glowing marks had faded slightly, but she looked far from safe. She whispered, "You have to leave, now, before they arrive." Ethan frowned. "Who is coming?" Before the mother could answer, the creature lifted its head sharply, eyes narrowing. It turned toward the forest, muscles tensing. Ethan heard it too, crunching leaves, breaking sticks, soft metallic clicks, and voices. Not alien voices. Human voices. Ethan's stomach tightened. The hunters weren't aliens. They were humans. A team of humans, heavily armed, moving through the forest in a tight formation. Ethan recognized the sound of their boots, their gear, their scanners. These were elite human hunters, mercenaries, bounty soldiers, the kind who would do anything for money. The boy grabbed Ethan's hand tightly. "Sir, they took our people. They poisoned the forest. They want the puppy. They want his power." Tears shook his voice. "They will not stop." Ethan's mind raced. He didn't know why humans would hunt an innocent child and a newborn creature with healing energy. But he knew one thing, he couldn't let the hunters take them. Not the boy. Not the mother. Not the puppy. Not after everything they went through. Ethan stepped outside the broken house, standing tall. The creature slowly walked beside him, its huge body still recovering, but its eyes focused and ready. It wasn't Ethan's enemy anymore. It was something else now, an ally. Lights appeared between the trees. Bright red targeting lasers. The hunters had arrived. A man in full black armor stepped out first. His helmet glowed with 3 red lines across the front. He held a giant shock rifle aimed directly at Ethan. Well, the man said with a cold laugh, "I didn't expect to find another human babysitting alien pets." Ethan tightened his grip on his metal stick, though it looked pathetic compared to their weapons. "They're not pets," he said calmly. "They're innocent. And you're not taking them." The hunter laughed again. "Taking them? No, Ethan, you misunderstand." He raised his rifle. "We're here to drain that creature's energy, and we need the puppy to finish the process." Ethan felt anger burn inside him, stronger than any fear. "You're hurting them. You're destroying their home." "Why?" "For power," the hunter said simply. "There's nothing in the galaxy more valuable than raw, living energy. And those two creatures are the last source. He stepped closer. You can step aside and live, or die with them. The boy hid behind Ethan, shaking. The puppy whimpered weakly in Ethan's arms. The mother inside the house closed her eyes in fear. Ethan's heart pounded. But he didn't move. He took one step forward instead. No, he said quietly. I'm not moving. The hunter sighed. Then you're a fool. He raised his rifle to fire. But before he could pull the trigger, the creature beside Ethan roared with a power that shook the entire forest. The ground trembled, trees shook violently, and a wave of blue light burst from its body. The hunters stumbled back in shock. The hunter shouted, "Shoot it! Shoot them both!" Laser beams shot through the air, but the creature took the hits, roaring in pain but refusing to fall. Ethan ran forward with the puppy still in his arms, dodging blasts, heading straight toward the boy's mother. The boy followed him, terrified but determined. The hunters reloaded their weapons. The creature tried to attack again, but its strength was fading fast. It had just been healed and couldn't fight long. Ethan reached the mother and placed the puppy beside her. The puppy opened its glowing eyes slightly, touching her arm. The mother breathed easier instantly. Behind them, the hunters surrounded the creature. Ethan turned to face them. Stop! You'll kill it. That's the plan, the hunter said coldly, aiming at the creature's heart. The creature lowered its head, exhausted. It looked at Ethan one last time, as if apologizing for not being strong enough. Ethan felt something snap inside him. Humans were capable of greatness, but also terrible cruelty. And right now, he was standing on the wrong side of humanity. He grabbed a broken metal plate from the ground and stepped between the hunters and the creature despite knowing they could kill him instantly. The lead hunter raised his rifle to finish the job. But something unexpected happened. The puppy struggled to its feet, glowing again, light spreading across its body like a tiny star trying to shine. The mother grabbed the puppy weakly, her own marks glowing too. Then their energy connected. A beam of pure blue light shot across the entire village, a glowing shield forming around Ethan, the boy, the mother, and the creature. The hunters fired, but the blue shield absorbed every shot. Their weapons overheated. Their helmets flickered. Their steps faltered. The hunter leader stumbled back. What is this? Ethan looked back at the glowing mother and puppy. Their eyes met. And Ethan understood. This wasn't just energy. This was a bond. A living shield. A family protecting itself. The hunters panicked and retreated into the forest, shouting orders and dragging their damaged gear with them. Ethan fell to his knees, exhausted. The creature lowered its huge head beside him in a soft gesture of respect. The boy hugged the puppy tightly, crying with relief. The mother breathed peacefully, her sickness fading. Ethan looked at the dark forest where the hunters fled. They would return. They would come with stronger weapons. They would not stop. Ethan stood, eyes cold with determination. They want a fight, he whispered, then we'll give them one. The creature growled in agreement. The boy held Ethan's hand. The puppy glowed faintly but bravely. The forest wind whispered around them. A new battle was coming. And Ethan was ready for it. For this alien family, he would fight the entire galaxy if he had to.